I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 89, The Polite Marriage. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. I hope wherever you are in your corner of the world that you're enjoying some nice weather. Here in Montana, it is finally springtime. I'm pretty sure we had snow a couple weeks ago. So I'm so happy to see leaves budding and flowers popping out and blue skies and green grass. It's beautiful. I love it. We're a little bit slow going here, so it's always wonderful when it comes. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some different kinds of marriages. Okay, so with infidelity, sometimes it is very obvious that there were problems in the marriage, sometimes major ones. Maybe you were cold to each other. Maybe there was a lot of fighting. Maybe there's a lot of ignoring and stonewalling, etc. But what about marriages that were seemingly happy? Have you ever had this thought? I thought we were happy. I thought we were good. What happened? How did I not know that he was going to go do this? We rarely fight. We enjoy each other's company. We parent together well. It can be very, very confusing to understand why infidelity occurs, even when from the outside, the marriage looks really solid. Maybe even on the inside, it might look pretty solid. In today's episode, I am going to cover two different kinds of polite marriages. I want you to see where you fit in. My goal here is that you will be able to spot where there may have been some holes and where you can patch up those holes and ultimately get much clearer on what you want for yourself. Before I do that, I want to just share something I've been giving a lot of thought to. I have been pondering and studying what it takes from both parties to affair-proof a marriage. For those who stay together, to make sure it never happens again. For those who separate, to make sure it doesn't happen in new relationships. I have this dream inside my heart that is stirring and starting to take form to figure this out. How to affair-proof a marriage. More specifically, how to affair-proof yourself to be infidelity-free. So I'm working on that. Stay tuned, okay? One of the reasons for this podcast is to help bring understanding and strength to individuals so they can see where the holes are, fill them, and go build an amazing life. I want that for you. So take what fits, apply it, and see the shifts that happen. You will become stronger. You will spot things sooner. You will stop questioning yourself and believe yourself more. This in turn shows up in our relationships, and we teach those around us that there's a new sheriff in town. We teach people how to treat us. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at polite marriage number one. Let me paint you a scenario. There are two people very busy with their lives, but they generally enjoy what they do. They are both engaged in things that bring them fulfillment, whether inside or outside the home. They have friends, perhaps church responsibilities, and they seem to be living good lives. They seem happy in their marriage. They may even publicly hold hands and show affection. They're polite and kind to each other, but not necessarily honest. They pretend a lot. And if they are going to dinner, for example, one may say she doesn't really care where they go, mainly to keep the peace and let her husband choose, who has a lot more preferences about things. This shows up in lots of areas. She just kind of goes along with things, but actually isn't really all that bothered by it. She is pretending to not have strong opinions on things when she actually does. Here's the kicker, though. She may have been in this pattern for so long that she actually might have forgotten that she does have preferences and opinions. She might have them hiding even from herself. These two individuals live parallel lives. They keep busy in their endeavors and genuinely enjoy their lives, but really stay in their lanes. Not a lot of intimacy where they share their hearts, hopes, and dreams with each other. They are not deeply seen and known to each other. Again, they may really feel happy, but they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what is possible for them. Maybe this is the pattern that they witnessed from their parents. They don't know what their weak spots are. They don't know that growing and helping each other grow brings a depth and richness to their lives that they've never experienced. So they continue on in their polite marriage. Now, on to polite couple number 2. On the outside, they may look very similar to polite couple number 1, but on the inside, it is quite different. Rather than feeling like they have a pretty happy marriage, they internally are conflicted at best, miserable at worst. They may go through the motions of holding hands, maybe a date night here and there, swapping kid responsibilities, etc., but they know they are playing small. They know they are not living as honestly as they could be, and they keep things close to their chest because they don't quite trust that their spouse will be careful with their hearts. They intentionally keep some things back. They know they want certain things like more closeness, more time with their spouse, more help with housework, more physical intimacy, more support in their careers. They want to talk about their careers and share things, but they don't. They're afraid to rock the boat because they believe arguing is bad and there should never be any contention. Or they're afraid of some kind of backlash, feeling like they will owe something if they speak, worry that they're going to be seen as ungrateful for wanting more, they should be content with how things are, etc. So they pretend like all is well. And in many ways, they actually too may feel like things are pretty good. They keep these things under the surface, these things that are not going well. But here's the kicker. What is hiding under the surface in this marriage can be very, very toxic and dangerous to the marriage. Sometimes it looks like resentment and contempt. Sometimes it looks like talking to other people about your frustrations in your marriage and acting like you are fine with your spouse. So you're talking to other people, your girlfriend, other people, your sister, complaining, saying all the problems that there are, but to him, you put a smile on your face and act like everything's fine. Sometimes it just looks like two separate lives where they grow further and further apart, like roommates. Infidelity can and does occur in both of these marriages. There can be a real element of taking each other for granted in the polite marriage, loving and caring for each other, but since you aren't really showing yourself in the marriage or really knowing your spouse, it can become quite the temptation when someone comes along who seems to really know you and move past the polite stage of things. So let me rephrase that. You do care about each other, you love each other, but it's very surface level. It's going through the motions. So when somebody comes along who reaches a deeper part of you or pretends to, it can feel very tempting. It can move things beyond the polite stage of things. As you hear me say all the time, this does not give permission to go be unfaithful, not at all. It means the marriage can be susceptible to infidelity. At any time, one individual can take responsibility for where they are at and what they want and decide to ask for new things in the marriage, or they can leave the marriage. Infidelity is always, always a choice. Okay, so what is the solution to the polite marriage? I call it the honest marriage. What's included in an honest marriage? Honesty, intimacy, and collaboration. Obviously, honesty, real transparency about everything, your weaknesses, your strengths, what lights you up, what you don't like, all the things, what you want more of in your marriage, what you want less of in your marriage. It can feel scary and it can feel like a whole lot of work because it involves getting to know yourself better and really seeing yourself. You cannot fully see your spouse until you see yourself first. For example, if we are just getting our self worth off of what our spouse is telling us about our looks, our talents, our desirability, etc., we will need to keep that coming to feel good. If we don't challenge ourselves and really know who we are, we can feel pretty fragile. It can be shaky. It's easier to continue to get outside validation because it's cheap. It's like a quick fix. It's easy, right? Tell me how wonderful I am. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Okay, thank you. You're going to have to do that again tomorrow, right? Like if you don't know how to give that to yourself, we're going to need it to keep coming. It's like going through the drive-through for a Big Mac. It may fill you up temporarily, but it is not sustainable long term. I have to tell you a funny side note. I have two sons that just got their first jobs at McDonald's, and my son yesterday told me, Mom, I really need to do better. All I eat is McDonald's because he gets like half price meals. And so after work, he gets to eat, and I think he gets a free meal on his shift. And he is just eating all this garbage. And he's recognizing that he doesn't feel good. So it's not sustainable, right? It won't help you grow into the person you ultimately want to be. You're going to be dependent on others for that kind of validation. It's not sustainable. Honesty stretches you. Sitting in the discomfort of the unknown of how you will be received, right? You don't know how your showing up is going to be received. You don't know how you saying the things that are in your heart or requesting the things that you want are going to be received by your spouse. And you stay open to it. You stay open. You allow the discomfort. Okay, next, intimacy. Real intimacy is much more than sex. It involves much of the same as honesty, really seeing and being seen, allowing the discomfort of letting your guard down. Sometimes it looks like letting your desires lead out and leaning into your desires and not necessarily knowing exactly what that's going to look like. So, for example, if you want a more close physical relationship, it means thinking about the things that matter to you and that you want and being willing to speak that, being willing to say, this is what I want, and being willing to let your guard down to have that thing. And that goes for things outside of the bedroom as well. Intimacy is a closeness that comes from really knowing each other, from really seeing this person. You know, it makes me think of my little daughter. I have my sweet little baby girl who's only 5 months old. And she's just an infant. Yet I feel like this little girl looks into my soul. I nurse my baby, and oftentimes when I'm nursing her, she will just stare at me, just right into my eyes, just stare at me. She has big, blue, beautiful eyes. And it's like she's looking at me in my soul, like really seeing her mama. And I know she doesn't have the words, she doesn't have the language, but I know that she is just full of love and light. And I know that she's just a perfect little infant, but to me that is a form of intimacy. It's looking, seeing, not turning away, not looking aside. Like really seeing. And because she doesn't have the conditioning that we get as we grow up, she can hold that space of just staring right into my eyes. Not looking away, just looking right at me. I swear she's looking into my soul. If only she could talk, right? And tell me what she sees. How awesome would that be to tell me what she knows? Anyways, intimacy, allowing the discomfort of letting your guard down, really seeing and being seen. This also means being vulnerable, okay? Most of you listening have experienced a betrayal. It can feel very, very threatening to practice trusting again. It can feel very vulnerable because we want to know that it's never going to happen again. You know, you're opening yourself up to being hurt again by stepping into this space of intimacy. Whether with your current partner or in the future, being vulnerable means actively showing up to move the relationship forward. I looked up the definition of vulnerability and it says this: the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. Super fun, right? Yeah, super fun. So why bother? Because there's so much richness to it. There's so much depth. There's so much joy. This means going beyond the surface to really knowing each other's souls. It can even feel scary to be vulnerable with ourselves, to really know ourselves, to really know who we are, because there might be parts of us, both positive and less positive, that feel scary. Like, oh my gosh, I have this gift inside me and I need to let the world see it. Oh, that feels terrifying. Or, oh, I don't love this part. And that means I need to deal with it. But it is in the seeing that we're able to love deeply and gently, lovingly calling ourselves and our partners out for more. It is from a deep place of love, compassion, and courage. So much courage to be vulnerable, exposing ourselves to the elements, essentially, saying, I know that something could happen again, and I'm going in, I'm willing. Lastly, collaboration. What does collaboration mean? I'll probably do an episode about collaboration. I think it deserves its own. Collaboration is working together to build something amazing. Collaboration is very intentional. Collaboration is not just going through the motions, but going, this is what we're building brick by brick, and we're doing it together. It's having constant exchanges of information and discussion and communication of what your various roles are, who's doing what, being team players, working together instead of living parallel lives where you do your stuff, I'll do mine. Collaborating, you are working together, very actively working together. It is not parallel. And again, I'll go in deeper on this in the future. But collaboration is a part of an honest and intimate marriage. Okay, so to wrap this up, let me ask you a question. What kind of relationship do you want? Do you want a polite, parallel, and pretend relationship? Or do you want an honest, intimate, and collaborative one? Here in this space, on this podcast, we talk a lot about courage. I believe that you sitting here listening to this podcast means that you are a courageous soul and that you are willing and capable of doing scary things. Now, I don't want to have any kind of shame for wanting to hang out in a polite marriage. Okay. There are people who feel quite happy there, who feel content there, the kind where there's not the undercurrent of resentment and those other things. Those don't feel good. But where really it feels comfortable, feels pretty easy. No judgment here. But here in the space, we're talking about infidelity. We're talking about looking at how infidelity happens and how we can solve for it and help ourselves grow, help our partners grow, help us know what we're looking for in the future, right? So look at the examples that I gave and just see where you landed in that, where you land now, and you can decide what you want in the future. You have everything in you to go make that. You might need to learn some new skills. You might need to learn some new thoughts that will help you go create that. But you can create whatever you want, whatever kind of marriage that you want. So, what do you want? And why? Why do you want that? I challenge you at the end of this episode to pick one area that you want to grow in and lean into it. If you're wanting to lean into trust a little bit, I challenge you to look at what that means for you. What needs to go? What doubts need to go? What fears need to be set down for a minute? It can be anything, not just trust, but pick one thing, decide what you want to grow in, and lean on in. Maybe journal about it. Okay, my friends, that's what I have for you today. Go have an amazing week and go build yourself an amazing life. Sending you all so much love. See you next time. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.